Well, the weather is clearing some and we're getting closer to Myrtle Beach. Now it's a little darker. Keep an eye on the instrument. You can see, looking at the GPS, that we're headed directly into the fix called Bevet. We know we can't miss the airport if we have that. Once again, that's on the approach plate. And we'll put the landing gear down, start getting slowed down a little bit. Switch over from GPS to nav. We'll start making an immediate right turn. You can see by looking at the GPS that we're deviating from our original path a little bit because we're now on approach. Keep an eye on the speed. Put in a notch of flaps. You can see it here on the dash that we do have flaps. And we can change the scale a little bit on our GPS. Watch the pointer. You can see items we ought to be checking. We're looking for the glide slope indicator, which is right there. Looking for the localizer, which shows we're right on. You can see the airport in the distance, fairly lighting up. We're going to want to move our airspeed down a little bit, bring it down to about 140. Don't want to come in too hot. Take a look at our scale again. We're almost to the Bevet intersection. We'll kid right here. We'll switch in the identifiers for the Myrtle Beach Airport, and you can see that we are dead on. But in this case, you can actually see the runway. Set up in the seat a little bit so we can see what we're doing. The glide slope is still slightly above us. We just pitched down, so we've captured the glide slope. From this point on, all we would have to do is manipulate the throttle, and we could go right down to the ground. Of course, disconnecting the autopilot just before we hit. So by moving the throttle back and forth, you should be able to keep the glide slope indicator right in the center, right on the horizon. You can see how many degrees of flaps we have down. We'll keep working the flaps in to get us slowed down. And it looks like we have full flaps. Once again, about 140 knots. Gear down, flaps down. Watching the glide slope. Remembering that we need to disconnect the autopilot. We'll also want to take off the speed control before we touch down. Might make it a little hard to stop if your speed control is set at 140 knots. And the glide slope is centered at the moment. I'll try to keep it there with the throttle. We could actually bring the course line around to the airport inbound radial, which in this case is, I believe, 178. It'd be another indicator to bring us straight in, but in this case the weather is pretty nice. Red and white, you can see the VASI lights. Red and white means just right. All red means you're dead. All white means you're going to fly all night. So try to keep a red and a white light showing as you make the descent. We just disconnected the autopilot. We're going to flare at about 50 feet. Try to keep it off the runway as long as possible. Let it settle in gently, keeping the nose wheel off of the runway until the last moment. And we'll apply the spoilers and the reverse thrust. Touchdown. Apply the reverse thrust. And we are home at Myrtle Beach.